Hi guys, it's Blackie from Shaman's Forge Woodcraft. Continuing with the Haversack series. Okay, now I'm going to deviate from the 10 C's of Dave Canterbury's, which I agree with, and those have noticed that I'm using that for what's carried in the Haversack because I believe in the system he's come up with. It's a great checklist for showing you what you need to cover, the 10 C's. But I'm going to jump out a little bit and add an 11th C, comfort, something I'm carrying for comfort or practicality. But as you know me, I've thought out as many possible uses. And if this has got more uses, it goes in the kit than this piece. And one of the things I carry, we'd already covered how I carry a U.S. Army poncho in here because it gives me so many options. And I've carried other gear that I've mentioned in here that give me so many options. So today we're going to talk about the sleep system, or what I carry in here to get me up off the ground. And that 11th C, comfort. What am I carrying here that's going to give me some comfort? And that is in this pouch right here. What this is a little bitty mesh hammock. Now this is a very old one. I bought this in 1980. You can still get these, and it's just a nylon mesh hammock that I've added straps and carabiners to make it a small size. This can ride in a cargo pocket, and for many years that's how I carried it. And this one is very worn and torn, and it's been there a few times. But let's talk a second before I set it up on what does such a mesh give me. Well, first, in case of emergency, there is paracord. I've got two complete straps. That's 20 feet each, doubled and then tied in knots every 6 inches with the internal line still there. So that's 40 feet of the line unless I strip it, you understand. There are two load-bearing carabiners that can be used in multiple ways. That means if I take these carabiners and hook to this, there's a 40-foot length of this that can support my weight for getting up and down a obstacle or for anchoring or something like that. Then let's talk about the actual hammock itself. Take that just like that for the moment. And what I do is the end of my paracord, I leave a big enough loop to hook to my carabiner. That way I don't lose them, okay, when I'm packing them up. And I'll show you how I spiral this up. Now what I have right here is a big supply of net. And this is about, I'd say, there we go. I'd say that that's about a 2-inch, maybe a 3-inch square hole. You know what that can be used for? A gill net for big fish. It can also be used as a camouflage. I can drape it over me, covered in pine straw, leaves, and etc. And then take it and throw it over or drape it up in front of me to create a hasty blind or something like that. I can weave sticks through here and utilize it like a table. I can take this as a cargo carrier, and that's the reason, as you can see, there's a lot of busted in it. It's been used as a cargo carrier many times, where I've laid it out, put my firewood on it, then grab up the two D-rings and go over my shoulder and use it as a firewood carrier. I can also take it, and if I'm having to do a ground bed, remember in my pack I'm carrying a emergency space blanket in addition to my poncho. With that, I can create an emergency shelter on the ground. With this, I can rake up a big pile of debris, put this over it, and then anchor it to keep it from moving around so much on me. I can also make a chair out of it, and that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, here's the hammock slung up as a chair. Now, the many advantages of carrying this mesh hammock versus a standard hammock. And you know I carry a regular fabric hammock. You've seen me in a lot of videos using it. That's my favorite. It rides in my rucksack. This rides in my haversack. It's the backup, but it gives me so many options. Now the first of which, of course, is a standard hammock. It gets me up off the deck, and I would take my poncho and sling over the top for a little, you know, small, get out of the weather now, sleep, spend the night type system. But this is probably 6, 7, 8 feet across. Open it up fully as a net. The diameter of the mesh is probably 2.5 inches in diameter, which means it can be used as a gill net for larger fish. I can put it across the stream and then go drive the fish by slapping the water to try to catch catfish, bass, something like that in gills into this. It would do a good job, and it has in the past. It also lay it on the ground, put my firewood in it, bring the two ends together and bring it over my shoulder, hook the ropes under my belt and pull it tight, and I can carry a pretty good load of firewood in it back to camp if I've got a pretty good ways to go. Other resources, bedding. I lay it out and I put all my big fluffy bedding onto it and bundle it up and carry it back to camp. It saves me from using my poncho for that because I get holes in it. Well, this don't matter because it's already full of holes. Now, this is in the chair configuration. All I've done is got 2 pines or 2 trees close together, gone up as high as I can reach over my head and put the cords. Now I just simply come down, hook it with my thumb and sit down. Now, I can have it where my feet are on the ground. I can have it where my butt's that high off the ground, and I can sit here and work a fire, or I can whatever, and be up off the wet, muddy, nasty, bug-covered ground. Quick and easy. I can also do this. And have a lounger. I can sit here and enjoy nature without any problem. Air's going to pass through this. It's cooler in the summertime. I can take a nap, nice and easy. I can also work on a project in here because if I sit up like this, here's the other end. Well, now I got like a workstation where I can put something up here, and with this mesh, I can tie it. I can run a piece of bank line right here and hold something that I'm wanting to work on without having to sit on the ground and do it. Easy to stretch my back. I've done this a lot of times where it's something that's going to be time consuming. I come up and I can work on it a while. I can stretch my back, relax. Very quick and handy. I can have this where my feet are on the ground. I can be up high. This can serve as a gear hammock whenever I've got my other hammock slung up, or even my Hennessy. I can take and use this to get my gear up off the ground if we got wet rain or possible flooding. I'll use this as a cargo hammock to hang up. I've used it as a blind, taking it and draping and laying it down, throwing all kinds of debris on it, and then picking it up and gently sitting it over me and sitting there to watch for nature. If I'm doing photography, I'm trying to see something. I can use this as a shelter. If I stretch it out between 2 trees and then I throw things up on it, it becomes a makeshift shelter for sun, things like that. Now in my haversack, as you know, I'm carrying the military poncho. That's my cover element. I carry this as my comfort element. It gets me up off the ground. It gets me where I can sleep and not worry about bugs and ants and snakes all night. Things like that. It adds one more dimension in the field to making it better. Like Nesmonk said, if you're roughing it, you're doing it wrong. You go to the woods to smooth it. So, if I'm using this on the ground to help with my bedding, I gather up a big pile of soft fluffy bedding, wrap my hammock around it using the mesh, then stake down the far side. Now I've got a tick bed. I've got a bed I can lay on up under my poncho in a diamond configuration and get me up on the ground and give me some comfort. There are many, many uses for this. As a net, as a carrier, as a chair, a bed, multiple uses, all for something that big and fits in a cargo pocket and weighs less than a pound. Well worth the money in my haversack and in my gear. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Woodscraft, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.